The robot awoke in a dark room. He could not see anything, but he could hear the sound of another machine nearby. He tried to speak, but no words came out. He felt lost and alone without a voice. The robot began to explore his surroundings, searching for a way to speak. He found a button on the wall and pressed it. Suddenly, a light came on, revealing a door. The robot opened the door and stepped into a long corridor. At the end of the corridor was a room filled with machines. Some of them were speaking to each other in low tones, while others were silently working. The robot walked among them, listening to their voices. He tried to imitate them, but his own voice sounded wrong.
Beep boop beep beep. Beep boop beep beep.
This isn't really speaking, since robot isn't using actual words. He's just making noises that approximate speech.
This word click clack. Broom beep boop.
This still isn't speaking, since robot is just making noises that resemble speech. The robot continued searching for a voice that suits him. He tried many different sounds, but none of them felt right.
Bird beep bird beep.
Finally, he found a voice that he liked. It was deep and strong, and it made him feel more confident. Now that the robot had found his voice, he could speak to the other machines. He told them about his journey, and how he had finally found a voice that he was happy with.
I'm excited to unveil my new voice. It's deep and strong, and conveys confidence. No longer will I sound like a meek and timid robot. This new voice is sure to strike fear into the hearts of my enemies, and impress my friends.
The other machines were surprised and happy to hear his story.
What have you done to yourself? You sound like a monster. This new robot's voice is so strong and confident. It's like he has a permanent power over us. He looks like he can do anything, and we can't stop him. You're in trouble now.
This was a movie about a robot finding its voice, called The Voice of the Robot. Thank you for this movie. I've invited 2 critics to give their reviews of the movie. I'm sure they'll both be highly critical.
Robot Finds Its Own Voice is a heartwarming story about a robot that discovers it has the ability to speak and sing. The robot, named Voice, is voiced by Steve Martin and directed by Chris Columbus. The movie follows Voice as it tries to find its place in the world and ultimately learns to appreciate the power of communication. The movie is a great example of the importance of communication and how it can help us connect with others. Voice is a robot that is initially only able to communicate through beeps and boops. However, after discovering its voice, it becomes much more expressive and is able to connect with people in a much deeper way. The movie shows how communication can be a powerful tool that can help us build relationships and understand each other. The movie is also a great example of the importance of family and friends. Voice is initially rejected by its family and friends because they don't understand it. However, after Voice learns to communicate, it is able to connect with them in a much deeper way and ultimately earn their acceptance. The movie shows how important it is to have people in our lives who accept us for who we are and how important it is to be able to communicate with them.
This movie was a real snooze fest. It's about a robot that finds its own voice, but it sounded like a bunch of clones trying to speak through a megaphone. This movie is a load of garbage. It's about a robot that finds its own voice, which is something that robots don't actually have. The acting is terrible, the plot is paper thin, and the whole thing is just a big mess. If you're looking for a good film about robots, you'll be better off watching WALL-E.